Welcome back, friends. So in this episode of What's on Your Mind, we interview my co-host and friend, Lana Kane. We talk about how she got started, a little bit of who she is, of course. So we have to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race. So, without further ado, here is my interview with Lana Kane.
Yeah, because I gotta form a dragon.
And you're bitching for the first 3 seconds.
I am bitching for
Way
the
to
first
go.
3 seconds. It's after a show, of course I'm bitching.
Okay, so welcome to the third episode of What's on Your Mind. We are interviewing the legendary, in her own mind, Lana Kane, who we just got done with our monthly drag trivia show. As she's... Sorry about the background noise. I mean, we can't ignore drunk people. It happens. Anyways, it's all been me talking because she's been sucking down the cigarette like it's her boss.
It's needed.
Anyways, so what we like to do usually with What's on Your Mind is learn about our drag queens. Drag herstory. Drag
herstory.
Yes. So, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I hate Wendy Williams. I hate that I said that.
Doing?
Oh my god. So
Poor choice for hosting RuPaul's Drag Race this season. Sorry, just personal opinion.
I'm so glad I don't actually watch those parts. I usually just fast forward.
I do too.
Yeah. Hopefully that impacts your
Just
pay.
get to the juicy part.
It's horrible. But I digress. So, Lana Kane, the infamous, legendary, find her in a back corner, Lana Kane. How did you become who you are? Tell me about yourself. Who are you?
Who am I? Oh,
Yes.
God, where do I begin? So it all started back in the 1920s.
Girl, we ain't got that much time. We know the Dirty 30s happened. You did some blowjobs. You gave some blow.
Oh, no.
It's fine.
I'm classier than that. So, actually, Lana got started because of my mom's breast cancer. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer about 5.5 years ago, and she is a survivor. And for 18 months, I was her primary caregiver. So I really didn't have a life, and needed some kind of creative outlet. And one of the former cast members from the previous trivia that we did here at Petra's with Roxy, where I was kind of the computer guy and the showrunner, and the DJ was DJ Phillip. I love him to death. Suggested that I bring back trivia to Petra's because there was really nothing going on Tuesday nights, and we wanted something fun to do. So I kind of thought about it, and I originally wasn't going to be the host. I was just going to be the producer and try to find somebody to host. And in pure drag queen fashion, didn't find anybody to host, and it was about 2 weeks before the show, and we had been touting that this was a new queen that you had never seen before and you had never heard of her, and which was very true at the point because we hadn't made her up yet, and that's how she became to be. I ended up doing the first reboot of trivia here and created Lana Kane.
And there she was stuck.
And that was my fate forever.
So, Lana Kane hasn't always been your name.
No.
How did you get your original name? What was your original name?
So my original name, when we were here at Petra's during the previous trivia season, Stephen C. put together the Men of Petra show. And it was actually kind of like a joke because it was all the people that did stuff here at Petra's, but didn't really do drag. I mean, we were all behind the scenes people. So we did this kind of Petra's contest.
Which, because you've probably heard it before with Eileen, Men of Petra's wasn't Men of Petra's. It was drag queens.
Yes. It was the drag competition.
And was it more of a variety show type competition?
So it was more of kind of like a drag race. It was,
Before, well, I guess it would be kind
drag
of around
race
the same
was still
time.
going on, but it was about the same time. It was during where drag race was really becoming popular, and we wanted to do a nice fundraiser and a good kind of pot of money for the winning queen.
Gotcha.
That went through Men of Petra. So the first ever one, was all staff people or volunteers or everything that did stuff behind the scenes here at Petra's. And that was a blast because we had, of course, Jimmy Smith, who was our bartender, and we had Christopher Jones, who was also a former staff member here.
Yeah,
so
fabulous.
That's how Barbara Burning Bush got started,
yes,
and we love her to death. And so I really could not figure out what I wanted to be as far as a queen name. So I was a big fan of Mrs. Doubtfire, and I...
What gay boy
I know, right?
was it?
Hello! Yes. So, I kind of came up with a play.
There it is, our audience in the background. They don't even know what's going on.
I came up with a play on Roxy's name because I really loved what Roxy did and did Moxie Doubtfire. So, now Roxy will probably emphatically deny that, but I totally...
It's fine.
Totally
Roxy is
loved it.
no more.
So, yes, she's now delighted. So, for Men of Petra's, I was Moxie Doubtfire.
That's adorable.
Yes.
Please tell me you wore a gray wig and
I did actually wear a
set your
gray
tits
wig.
on fire. It's great.
I did do a gray wig.
Didn't do your face, just put cream.
Yeah, just cold cream everywhere.
Oh God.
So I made it through the Men of Petra's and was first runner-up, I think. It's been so long ago.
Which, by the way, you can watch all of them on YouTube. If you Google Men of Petra's. I've watched a few of them, and they're quite hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Just because some of them are actually pretty polished, but also some of them are just...
That's where Eileen got her start.
That's very true.
So we all we busted our drag cherry with Men of Petra's.
Yes.
So, and then, of course, for trivia, I really didn't want to do Moxie Doubtfire. I wanted to come up with something new and creative. And I wanted to do something that paid homage to my mother, who was a nurse. So, I happened to be walking through CVS one day and was chatting with a friend, and we were just kind of tossing names back and forth and couldn't figure out what we wanted. And then I happened to come across the ointment aisle and saw a tube of Lana and I said, oh my God, I'm going to be the girl you're itching to see. I will be Lana Kane.
See, now, that makes so much more sense, because I've been trying to figure out why the fuck she wants everyone to be itching to see her. And Lana Kane.
Lana
Oh my God,
the shit out of you.
Oh my God, I've known you for years. Why did that just click now? That's gonna frustrate me till no end. You have no idea that I did not get that.
Just coming around right now,
Oh my God. I feel like I just opened my eyes for the first time.
Yeah. So
She's still busted, by the way. I opened my eyes.
No,
She's still
always
busted.
busted.
It's fine. I could tell that blind.
never fresh, always busted. So Lana Kane.
You get it at a discount. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. Hips are brought to you by the Levine Cancer Institute, and the padding is brought to you by Value Village because I'm too poor to go to Rooms to Go.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. Give her a couch every time it lands on my loading dock.
Absolutely. I get that first alert. It's just like the weather.
Well, I have a pendant now. It just alerts her whenever there's a couch.
Just run down and grab it.
Basically. She's real fast. She's
padding.
She's pretty fast for having to have a hover around. Oh man. So Lana Kane, sorry. You have kind of made your name as a hostess.
Yes.
You do numerous other things, though, mostly charity.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite ones that you're involved with?
Probably by far my favorite has been performing for the kids at Time Out Youth.
Right.
And I've been blessed to do that twice. I actually did a trivia show there, a very PG trivia show at Time Out Youth. But I also, the first time I was there was for showing the documentary that was filmed about me. I was very new into drag. I'd only been doing Lana for about a year and a half, and was involved in HRC and was doing the Pride Parade that year with HRC. And I met a lady by the name of Mary Dalton who did the documentary on the story of Lenny and Pearl, the couple up in High Point who were part of the court case, the Supreme Court case.
Gotcha.
They were plaintiffs in the Supreme Court case to get marriage equality overturned. So we met at the viewing of their documentary called Living in the Overlap, and I happened to be knitting, of course, and she was a knitter too, so we connected on that level.
Gotcha.
And we connected through the documentary. And she surprised me by coming down one day and asking if I could show her the yarn shops around town, and I was like, absolutely. And we made it through one yarn shop, and then we kind of started talking about me and the charity that I do. So she was just kind of fascinated by that and wanted to film a story based off me being the caregiver of my mom during her breast cancer.
Yeah.
I'm a computer nerd by day, so that's my day job, and then I do charity work. So we came up with the idea of Queer Knitter in the Queen City because that's the title of my blog, which is very outdated.
I don't say I didn't even know you did.
Yeah,
I've known you for a year.
We haven't actually written that blog in a while, so it needs to be freshened up a little bit.
It was actually on MySpace. Tom's
Blogger.
Oh shit.
Blogger days.
Well, at least it wasn't Geospace.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
So,
that's fantastic.
But
sorry, what was the name of the documentary
so
again?
the documentary is called Queer Knitter in the Queen City.
Queer Knitter. Okay.
Yep. And
gotcha.
It actually has its own Facebook page, and you can watch the little documentary about me there.
Okay.
Which will give you a little bit more of my background, and some childhood stuff is brought up into that as well.
Gotcha.
So that's actually how we met, and so I showed that documentary at Time Out Youth, and we actually did a viewing party here at Petra's for trivia. We made a big night out of it.
Obviously, it's not a very long one.
No, it's only about 10 minutes. It's a short documentary. So I was very blessed because it was shown around the country in several different gay and lesbian film festivals. It was shown here in Charlotte. It was actually shown up in Winston-Salem as well. The one showing that surprised me was the Palm Springs Film Festival. So it actually did show at the Palm Springs Film Festival, and I got a few comments back from that, which was really nice.
That is really cool.
So, yeah, that's how it finished its run, and then now it lives on our website. So
that's awesome.
QueerKnitter.com will take you right there, or you can go to Queen City Lana, and there's a link over to it on my page. So that's probably the most favorite charity that I've done. Second to doing, and it's a toss-up between HRC because I love doing, I believe in the work that HRC does, and was involved and still am involved in HRC. But Hollywood Squares is also one of my other favorite things to do.
And what charity? Because that's a local charity.
Yeah, so Hollywood Squares actually is a fundraiser that One Voice Chorus does. It's one of their major events that they do every year, and they always do it in the summer. And it's 2 nights, and it's hosted by Barbara Burning Bush. And it's kind of like a homecoming per se, because several of us who have been around in Charlotte, love to just kind of dress up and get silly. So, and I will always donate my time to them for this night because the chorus is beautiful.
And that's a gay chorus.
It is
correct?
It is a gay and lesbian chorus. It's actually and it's not just gay and lesbian. It's across the spectrum. So straight allies and
it's an LGBTQIA spectrum.
So, but the music that they do is beautiful, and their director has come up with some of the most beautiful arrangements I've ever seen. There are times where I have been up in my square crying because I think last year a gentleman did a song from Kinky Boots. and that kind of brought everybody to tears. So
makes sense.
But then on the flip side, you'll have them doing a Vestal Goodman song, and we're all waving our handkerchiefs going to the city. So it's kind of hilarious. So it's a fun night. Or fun 2 nights.
Yeah. You're also, you're kind of involved just kind of everywhere. If I remember right, you joined Stonewall Bowling.
I did.
I don't know.
I needed to get some exercise. I did not. I was not able to do the winter season or the spring season this year just because of HRC duties.
That's right.
But I'm looking to come back in the next season because I do miss bowling.
Which, if you don't have a Stonewall Sports in your area and you're listening, we're always looking for more cities.
Absolutely.
Because DC is the home city, and they host a wonderful national tournament, and they invite everybody. Everyone is guaranteed at least one team per sport, and this season we actually have 6 or 7 sports.
I think there's 7 now.
Because it's dodgeball, kickball, volleyball, which volleyball's the first time. Bowling is also the first time. And then we have darts and billiards. So maybe
there's softball. Did we get softball in there?
But softball's not at nationals.
Oh, okay.
Charlotte is the only
Charlotte's
city
the only one that does
with
softball.
Just like Raleigh is the only one with flag football.
Gotcha.
But it's a great organization. It gets you out there. It gets you out of the darkness and into the light, so to speak.
Absolutely.
If you're tired of meeting random men or women online and in gay bars in the dark of night, it is a great organization. They bring you out there. You get to know people outside of, a drunken slur. And sometimes, you prefer those people drunk. But that's fine. That happens. So outside of that, you do Stonewall, you do One Voice Chorus, they're Square, you do HRC, Time Out Youth.
Yes.
You also do, what's the other one? I know this one off the top of my head. Herstory. You do Herstory.
I do the drag Herstory presentation.
Yes. And you've done that a few different places.
I've done it at a couple companies. The first one was Synchrony Financial last year, which was a blast. That was the dry run, so to speak. But I wanted to tell the story in 3 phases. I wanted to tell the actual beginnings of drag and where the phrase drag queen comes from, which comes back from Shakespearean days. It can be traced back even further than that. But it really kind of became popular during the Shakespearean days because the men, of course, also played the women's roles.
Yep, there were no women in Shakespearean plays.
So
Romeo and Juliet, that took a different turn.
Exactly.
Way different turn.
So the dresses that the men wore would drag across the stage, so they were kind of given the title of drag queens during the Shakespearean plays. So we kind of go through that history, and then we go through how it evolved from those times into where drag queens and our transgender brother and sisters, like Sylvia Rivera, and our Stonewall, I like to call them our Stonewall brothers and sisters, but the Stonewall riots. So we kind of come up through there, because drag was still very prevalent in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, very much during when Prohibition was going on, and it was almost kind of like you had to go to a speakeasy just to go see a drag show as well. So It was a very underground scene and kept very quiet until right about the time that the riots started happening and people started kind of coming out a little bit more. And we come out of that period and we talk, about the most fabulous drag queen of them all, RuPaul.
Who, might I say, is... Yes, fabulous, but also she was part of the club scene.
Yes.
She was a club kid.
She was a club kid. She got her start down in Atlanta.
Yes, which is weird because most people equate club scene to New York.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, Atlanta, Georgia. That's where Nina Brown is from.
Yes.
There's a few here and there spotted throughout. Even Charlotte has a few that are, I would call them punk rock club kids.
Yep.
A lot of them had since moved to different areas, but they still embody that same vibe.
So RuPaul was very much that, and then she moved to New York. She took a giant leap of faith and moved to New York.
As most queens tend to do.
Got to know Lady Bunny and got to know Michelle Visage, whom I love. And Michelle, if you happen to come across this podcast, I love you. You know this because we talk a lot.
Well, he talks at you. It's Twitter. You never know.
So sometimes she responds. She knows who I is. So we kind of go through that whole phrase, and it was because of RuPaul coming out in the 90s with Supermodel and the album and doing the things there where the shining light, so to speak, of drag really kind of started to come out. And that 80s drag scene always fascinated me. Because
that explains your wardrobe.
Yes, exactly. It does explain my wardrobe. Because you had a mixture of everything. There weren't pageant queens or comedy queens or campy queens or anything. You were just a queen, and you did what you did for either a political reason to make a statement, or you did it for fun. You did it for pure entertainment. A lot of us actually tease that drag is therapy, and it really is.
Oh, it totally
because
is.
you put on a different persona, and you kind of get to forget your troubles for a while and entertain the crowd. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I that's something that I agree with 100%.
So, yeah.
Now, it's the best form of therapy, I think, for gay men. Well, actually, I know of at least one straight man who does drag. Mm-hmm. And it's not an unheard of thing. It's a very rare thing.
Yeah.
But it does happen. He happened to be in a very hetero-flexible relationship that he was married to a woman and who was a dominatrix. So, very, very eccentric, and it helps. But no, drag is one of those things that it brings the person who is doing drag a sense of calming. Mm-hmm. Well, at least it does for me. I can't speak for everyone. Obviously, everyone does it for their own reasons. But to be able to bring laughter and something different, because what we do right now and what you're used to doing, it's not so much drag in its normal sense of you're going out on a stage, you're doing your number, and you're done. No. We are more based on we interact. We host trivia.
Yep.
So it's a different scene. Now we do numbers, but it's a different atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And you're definitely playing to basically like you're on a stage.
Yeah.
And you can't see the crowd because you just act and hope to God they give you money.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas most bars it's you go up, it's expected you're going to get X amount of dollars because people are going to give you money. We definitely like it when our seats are full. But the laughter and enjoyment and people saying, hey, I had a great time, this is fantastic, I'm going to be here next month. That's, I think, the biggest achievement that we can get in our concept.
Absolutely.
So, what, I guess, being a drag queen, because you've been a drag queen for just as long, if not longer than I have, what is the one thing that you, how do I want to word this? It was right there and I lost it. I should never do these interviews drunk, and I apologize. What is something that you look for when wanting to do a show? Like, what is something that you look forward to? Like, how do you prepare yourself?
For a trivia show or for any show?
Well, just in general. Like, because you do a couple different ones.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, there's research. For me, I'm an Amazon queen. I don't know how to sew yet.
Oh, yeah.
I would not pass RuPaul's Drag Race at all. I would hot glue that bitch.
You better know that Fabric Planet.
Yes. It's horrible.
Are you guys good?
Yeah.
Don't want water or anything?
No, thank you.
So for me, it really depends on what I'm going to be doing. Of course, the drag history presentation took a long time to research, and then
So, but that's not something that's just out there.
No.
Like, it's not a monologue
No.
that you can print offline. It's something you compose.
It is something that I
That's
literally
really cool.
came up with.
Okay. See, now I didn't know that.
So
I thought it was something that was out there. Like RuPaul started it
No,
years ago, and
I
then
took-
you just composed it.
No,
and
I
did
just
it
took
your
the
own.
word.
Okay.
Just the herstory.
Gotcha.
But no, I did some research on the history of drag and how that kind of came through, and kind of put my own little monologue on it, because the final, it's basically done in 3 parts. So the final part is my story,
Of course.
which you guys have already heard. So for those that's kind of done, and I get into a certain mindset for that one. Whenever I'm doing any drag period, there's like a pump-up period. I get excited if I'm going to be putting together a new costume, and trying new things. This is a couple of years ago when the Kentucky Derby was around, which we just had this past year. I made this past Saturday. I made a Kentucky Derby hat, so we actually did that at a trivia, and that was just kind of fun and really campy. So I love doing that kind of stuff. Coming up with trivia is always fun too, because you're learning more things, and
Yes.
there's stuff that you don't even know exists out there, and you're kind of like, what?
That's the one thing, while you were on your break, that's the one thing that I really enjoyed doing, was building trivia, because we don't do a template.
We don't pull from
Nothing's the
Trivial
same.
Pursuit or anything.
No, there's
We go
probably
out
some
there.
topics that could
There's
correlate, but it's
crossover,
not on
but
purpose.
yeah.
It's whatever wild hair gets up Lana's ass, we do that topic, we figure out questions for it, and then we try and figure out appropriate answers, I guess. But it's always an adventure when we...
Absolutely.
Usually it's done 2 days before. We test run it and hope to God the computer doesn't crash on us.
Absolutely.
Because we are
Which has happened in the past.
It has. Yes, it has. Or, slides just disappear and answers go before questions. It's a fucking shit show.
It's a professional production.
It really is. We were voted the Bob Award of 2016.
Which actually was humbling and very surprising.
Yeah.
I will have to say, I was not expecting that. And it is a huge honor to be given a Bob Award for something that I didn't even know was going to make it past a first year. And here we are at 4 years.
We are.
We just celebrated our 4th anniversary here.
That was actually our show tonight.
Yep.
Actually, it was supposed to be last month, but this bitch
But we
forgot
celebrated
my
your
birthday.
birthday.
Forgot my birthday. It's okay. I'm not bitter or anything. They didn't even give me a cake.
If someone would actually tell us her birthday.
I
We do have to plot these things on our calendars.
You're right. It's fine. It was only my golden birthday. Never going to happen again unless I live to be 28. 28 years old.
That's a long way to go, girl.
I'll probably have robot
You're going to
legs
have to
by
beat
then.
out Queen Elizabeth on that
I'll
one.
have great hips by the time I'm 128.
Titanium.
Oh my god, I'll be able to put on all the corsets.
Yes.
Anyways. Shit. So what, because you didn't really, we are a company of misfits.
Mm-hmm.
Orphans. I guess I would call it
Yes.
orphans. We didn't have the drag mom that so many drag queens have.
Right.
What are some tips or advice, or I guess tips and advice are the same damn thing, but things that little gay boys and girls, or straight, I'm not gonna stereotype, little boys and girls would like to that would like to be either drag kings or queens.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you have for them?
I would say, number one, don't be afraid to ask. When I first got started, I had no idea what the hell I was doing when it was time to put on faces.
And I mean, the worst thing they can say is no.
Exactly.
And then you just, when she started, there wasn't YouTube. So you can just go on YouTube for a lot of it.
Yeah. YouTube the hell out of shit, and practice. The biggest thing is practice. If you don't practice, you don't get better. And you don't learn
True.
the new stuff. I was very fortunate that I had methamphetamine and Bella Jade.
Who we've talked about before. Well, not Bella Jade. Bella Jade's, I want her on my show.
Yeah.
But Methamphetamine we've talked about before. Actually, I hope we get to interview while she's home. Anyways.
So while they were over at Cathode, I was just getting started then. So they literally took me out on a makeup shopping date and gave me all the basics. And I probably watched them paint for 3 or 4 shows before I even attempted to put my own face on. So Bella was very gracious and did my very first face. And then she told me that I was on my own and I had to do my second face, and that was okay. Very stripy and very unblended.
You know, and that
but we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't all look contoured for the gods. I mean, we still don't look contoured for the gods.
No. I have days.
Weeks, actually.
Good days, bad days.
It takes you a week to get that contour.
Dig it in. But really just practice it, and don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to go to other shows and make friends with other queens and ask them, do you have tips? Or, oh, I've never done that. Or pay attention when you're doing a charity show, because usually there's 4 or 5 queens in there that are doing it for charity as well. Mm-hmm. So you'll learn different tips.
Yes, I agree with that. I guess the big thing for me was actually, and if you're younger, get into it and you're able to, start doing as many theater shows that are available. Mm-hmm. They will teach you the basics, because stage makeup is not far from drag makeup at all, because you have to be able to see it from the back row.
Exactly. We call it painting for the back row.
So you over accentuate, you over contour, you over everything,
and you will look like a clown when you look in the mirror.
Also, get good mirrors.
Yeah,
good mirrors, good lighting.
Onya's got an OT light, so it like blinds us every time she turns it on.
I paint with a LED light. The rest of them paint with fluorescent. So we trade off. You know, if it looks good in fluorescent, it's great. If it looks bad in LED, then we need to add some more.
Exactly.
It's like high def versus low res.
Oh my god.
Which we'll get into RuPaul's Drag Race next.
Yeah.
But you need, depending on you paint for the venue you're gonna be in.
Yeah.
Which for us, it's a music venue turned drag show turned. God, every night of the week it's a different event.
Yeah, we have everything
great.
Here.
Sorry, message on my phone. Which is one of the main reasons why I love being a part of this venue, because you can literally come here every night of the week and do something completely different. Mm-hmm. Whether it's Drunken Spelling Bee, Big Mama's House of Burlesque,
Potions and Pixels, which is a game night. Just the live music.
And yeah, live music. They have different dance parties. They have their what is their 80s called? I can't remember what it's called. Mirror Moves. It's called Mirror Moves. And they have a live DJ who plays vinyl records of the 80s and all its glory. It's fantastic. Anyways, enough for this non-paid sponsorship. With now that we're in pretty much the middle of RuPaul's Drag Race, what do you think? That's what I'm going to go with. What do you think? How do you feel about it?
I think this season has been very interesting. We are season 9?
Season 9. Well, if you're counting straight seasons, season 9. If you're counting seasons plus All-Star, we're on 11.
9. Season 9.
But, yes.
So it really kind of floors me. Now, I'm not going to say that if I happen to get on RuPaul's Drag Race that I'm going to know everything that's going to come at me, because you don't know
every season
what's going to be thrown at you. There's always a twist.
There's always a twist.
But there's always things that you should come prepared for.
Singing.
And so
sewing.
Singing, sewing, dancing, or
Yep.
at least faking it very well.
Yep.
If you don't know how to dance, you better know how to lip sync for your life.
And then acting.
And a little bit of acting in
Yep.
there. So, the one thing, one of my favorite challenges to see what happens is the Snatch Game. Because
Oh my God,
that if you make it to Snatch Game, you have to bring your AAA game at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to be on it.
Yeah.
You've got to know the characters you're going to do. You've got to have a backup character if another queen has decided they're going to do that character.
Yep.
You have to be spot on with this. So this past Snatch Game was pretty interesting. There were some surprises. Had to hand it to Nina Bonina Brown for doing Jasmine Masters, because
Which is the first
that
time
was a stroke
she's
of
been
genius.
done.
Yes,
First time she's been done.
that was a stroke of genius, and that actually pleased RuPaul.
Yes.
Because you got to make them laugh.
You need, yes. Laughter is key. Or, no, I mean, that's pretty much
Yeah.
it. I mean, you have to be absurd, basically.
Yeah.
But you have to be on point.
Yeah.
The
The other surprise that I got from that night was Alexis Michelle, when she said she was going to do Liza.
I was worried about that.
I was a little worried
was.
too. And it's not like we're best friends because we don't know each other. And Alexis, if you're listening, I love you. You're great. But the Liza was phenomenal.
It was one of my favorites.
The accentuations that she did with her voice and the little kind of breathing in at the end.
And
It
Liza
truly
Minnelli
embodied current
has
Liza.
Those phonetic,
Yes.
very specific ways
Yes.
that she says things. And I do agree. She was very,
It was phenomenal.
very on point with all
It
of
was
it.
very, very, very phenomenal. So I think that we're going to definitely see some surprises come up in the next couple of episodes. I think it's very going to be interesting to see who the top three are going to be.
Oh my God. My bracket is... The only one left in my bracket is Sasha.
I've still got Alexis in mine. I've got Alexis.
See, I had... who were they? It was Charlie,
Uh-huh.
which... I love Charlie. You're great. Horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Got to dance.
Eureka. I had her in my top three.
I was really sad about Eureka. Her injury got her, which...
No, and
You can't
honestly,
perform on an injury.
Honestly, I had really hoped that she would be the first plus-size queen
Yes.
to win.
Yes.
I think next season when she comes back, because they already got their green light to go.
Yes.
Which, God, this is okay. So sidetrack. This is the one thing that I hope they do differently for next season, because it's going to be on VH1. It's just something that's going to happen. It's in HD. I hope to God that when they bring all these girls, whoever they may be, that they give them a day tutorial of, hey, we're in HD now. This is how you should paint.
Yeah.
This is some guidelines. This is a step that you should do yourself to, God, just help you. Because, yeah, your outfits can be great, but with an HD, that face, it's just going to be... that's what everyone's going to look at.
Yeah.
Your makeup is everything. I guess, how would I put it?
You don't want to show up with a beard.
It's probably 50...
You don't want to show up with a beard.
Oh, my God, the goddamn beard.
Yes.
And there's so many queens in the past seasons that have... It was Cynthia, it was...
There's been a few.
Layla McQueen, or whatever her name was. God. Pearl was another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all these ones that you paint beautifully, yet you beard every time. And there's so many... And I get it, that's just how you do things, but I hope to God that VH1 is like, hey, we're gonna send you to a class. This is how you paint for HD, for high definition. You need to be correct.
Yeah,
Because it's gonna make me... I mean, granted, this season I was very worried. I honestly didn't... Other than Cynthia, I didn't know any of the queens. This is the first season I knew none of them.
Really?
And I think that's what it's going to come down to. A lot of it is because there's quite a few queens that... Speaking of queens, there's Scott Weaver.
Hi,
Hey,
darling.
Good. How are you? But I think with social media, because Farrah, I guess I would count her as a social media queen. Aja's another one. Granted, Aja can do a killer lip sync.
Yes.
Farrah's known as, Las Vegas queen, beautiful, gorgeous. But a lot of them, I think, got on the show because of their social media following. Which, now with everything, there's live streaming, there's, YouTube, there's...
Periscope, it's all out there. Facebook everything. Live, it's all out there.
You can get your fan base by doing makeup tutorials or question and answers, that kind of stuff. You can be a social media presence and not have the talent, so to speak. Not saying that either of those girls have
but
no
you can
talent,
grow.
You can learn.
Take the judges' critiques. And that's the one thing that you've got to do, is that you've got to take the judges' critiques,
agreed,
turn them into something beautiful,
and that's something that so many queens, because drag is very personal. Mm-hmm. You have your persona, you have your look, you have what you're doing. It is something that you have built from the ground up.
Yes.
So to have someone come in and critique it is killer.
Yes.
Which is why I'm really glad I went to graphic design school. I went to an art school where you are subjected to critiques every week, if not daily.
And you're graphic designing your face.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Every time you put on a face, you're graphic designing.
As I call it, I paint by numbers. Yep. Every time I do a face. It's a different... And so, it's something that you develop your personal life, and I think there should honestly be... I wish more cities that have drag would do critiques. Mm-hmm. But there's also the stigma of, I'm a drag queen, we're very catty, we don't like other queens. Unless you're in my family, we don't talk. Like, it's something that I hope...
Or the bar ownership wars.
Well, yes.
Which has plagued Charlotte for a very long time.
Yes. I will say that, granted, I haven't...
Which I will not do.
I haven't gone out into the real world in drag yet. I've done Stonewall, I've done this, I've done a few other things, mostly Halloween parties, but it's hard to learn how to better yourself. And like, I know, like, Denver, they do the Ultimate Queen, and I know Atlanta does the Glitz.
Yep.
I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Anyways, they do these competitions, and the judges are there, they critique you, they do all that stuff, and a lot of these queens, I've seen just rants after rants of girls that have performed on there that they're like, well, it was unjust, it wasn't, it's something that you need to toughen up, honey.
Yeah.
Not only are you a drag queen, you're a homosexual, we're in Trumplandia, like, you can't get...
We don't call it war paint for nothing.
Exactly.
You gotta put that war paint and that body armor on.
War paint, body armor, put a brick in your fucking handbag, just, it's fine. Just prepare yourself.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
And, okay, so... God, there was something I wanted to ask you. I can't remember. Out of all of your shows, out of all of your personas, because you've had 2 now, who is your biggest inspiration?
Oh, God.
Drag-wise. I mean, we know you kind of modeled it kind of
wow.
from your mom and that kind of stuff.
I would have to say it's a mixture of people.
Okay.
And you honestly, you don't want to copy a particular queen. I wouldn't want to copy a particular queen.
I wouldn't say it's you wouldn't want to, but getting started, you're gonna pick aspects, and that's just what you know because you've watched them paint or you.
Drawing inspiration. I mean, I literally draw inspiration from a lot of people that I meet. I also draw it from kind of like my daily life.
Okay.
Because I never know what's going to come at me.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, this is true. In my day job, you know, and then being in retail for so long, you know, you're always on stage.
Yeah.
When you're in retail, and in the job that I am now, which is very customer facing, internally I'm always on stage as well. So if a system breaks, you can't freak out about it. You just gotta go with it. So you kind of have to be quick on your feet, and that's where the quick wit comes in, and the learning how to banter back and forth, which is great, because when I first started trivia, I really didn't have that banter until Eileen came along.
Oh my God, she's learned so much.
And
so much.
Then when Eileen came along, we went from a PG rating to a PG-13 rating. And then when Onya came along, we just blew that crap out of the water and went straight to rated R.
I mean, that's I'm best as an R rating.
Some of it comes from daily life. Some of it comes from watching other queens. Ginger Minge, I think, is a hoot. I love her to death. She won't remember this, but I did meet her back at Gay Days when she was, in Orlando. Some of the other fun queens that I've met was when we originally brought Charlotte Pride, way back in 2000. We had Chad Michaels. Before a lot of people knew who Chad Michaels was. He was really only known on the West Coast. And he is just an absolutely amazing performer, and an all-around awesome person just to talk to. You draw inspiration from different people. Here locally, Gypsy, who has been a mainstay around here, the late great Boom Boom Latour. I grew up watching. I would say I grew up coming out, watching these queens, legendary queens in Charlotte, who had been around for years. Brooklyn Dior, Carrie Nichols, Casey King. I mean, the list goes on. You had these fabulous performers that would come in week after week and just tear the house down. And they were also thrown into hosting roles. And I knew that I wanted to do that hosting part. So
Gotcha.
That's where a lot of my inspiration comes from, is being that hostess with the mostest.
Now, I do love that you listed off all these queens, because a lot of them I've never heard of.
Yes.
And most of them probably aren't even doing drag anymore.
There's a few. Gypsy, I know, is still doing...
Gypsy does drag every once in a while.
Yes.
I see her every once in a while. But a lot of them, though, that's why I started this podcast.
A lot of people have retired.
They've retired. Unfortunately, some have passed away.
Yes.
Drag, gay lifestyles, they take a hell of a toll on you
Yes.
if you don't take care of yourself.
Yes.
I'm all about self-care, self-preservation. Taking a personal day, it's great. But that's why, I started this, because I feel like the people need to know backstories.
Mm-hmm.
Get to know the queens.
Mm-hmm.
See where they come from. They're more than just a performance on a stage, put on makeup for 3, 6, 7 hours, and then call it done. Like, there's more behind that face than meets the eye, which is, I'm glad that you could sit down for this interview.
Thank you. I'm glad I was able to.
I'm glad I'm still sober enough to make words. So, on that note, we will end this, and we will see you next month. See you guys later.
Bye.
If you'd like to know more about this queen, you can find her by visiting queencitylana.com or by checking out my Facebook at onyaofficial.com. For more information about sponsors or becoming a guest, you can send an email to onyaofficial@gmail.com. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next month. Bye.